Hello everyone, this is LEGO Spartan Productions, and today I have a new MOC to show you. This is a MOC of the Vietnam War, and it includes a section of the U.S. Marine Corps platoon and Viet Cong guerrillas. So going over the battlefield, you have a small hill here with the American command post on it, a small clearing as well with a path leading down to rice paddies where the Huey helicopters can land. Here's a small section of the forest with grassy areas inside it, and then moving in the middle is the wide, large rice paddies. These are an iconic part of Vietnam. This is how the Vietnamese got their food, from rice, and they also used it to lure American troops into them and mow them down with machine gun fire when they were exposed. And on this side, we have a Vietnamese village. This is set in South Vietnam, as the people, a lot of the people, South Vietnamese, were sympathetic to the North Vietnamese communist regime and fought against the Americans as they encroached on their homes. So there are two small huts here in a sandy area with a small little section of forest here as well. And then here's the large forested area. Its elevation varies from the high hill here, leading down to a low area that's about the same elevation as the rice paddies, coming up to a little bit higher elevation here. So let's get started in the details of the battlefield. So here's the small hill. It's rocky. There's not really much grass on it at all. Some vegetation is growing, but not nearly as much as the dense forest here. So there's the American command post up there, sand bunkers, an M1919 machine gun nest that's not manned by anyone right now, but any Marine can jump into it quickly and start firing. And then back there is a small tree with some more vegetation, the large American flag, of course. And here's the American major with his Colt revolver there, and he's talking to a Marine here in a boonie hat carrying an M16. And around them are crates full of ammunition. Here's an LMG, fuel canisters, another M16 on the table, a map, more crates of ammo, and over here we have a U.S. Marine Corps recon sniper. He's camoed in, he's got his green face paint on so he blends in well. And then the hill rolls down into the small clearing here. There's grass around it, but it's also muddy. And here's the Huey helicopter, which is also another iconic figure from the Vietnam War. It was used to ferry troops all over the place, supplies, wounded soldiers, whatever the U.S. Army, Marines, and other branches needed, this Huey could pretty much provide. This is a completely custom Huey, by the way. And in the interior, here's another M1919 machine gun on a revolving post. And as you look through the cargo bay doors, these move, by the way, slide back and forth. So there's two of those, one on either side. And here's a Marine jumping out, a fresh-faced Marine with his fatigues not at all dirty. So he's jumping out with his M16 in hand. And another Marine that's been here for a while, or in Vietnam for a while rather, is unloading supplies, crates of ammunition and food, and he's going to bring that up to the command post up there. There's small shrubberies and stuff all over the place. A small little boardwalk, I guess, planks leading down to the rice paddies. And here's a bomb crater made by American bombers. So there's a 50 caliber M2HB nest here, protected by barbed wire and sandbags. So there's the machine gunner there, and his support man there, who's carrying another belt of ammo. And in the front of the forest, near the rice paddies, there's a heavily wounded American Marine who has just gotten hit by a mortar round by a VC troop here, who fired that off, and he hit the poor Marine, and there's burning shrapnel all over the place, and he's lost some limbs. His helmet fell off, and his M16's over there as well. But the American major, he saw that, and he sent out a small squad of Marines to go help out the poor Marine over there. So these two guys are armed with machetes and a shotgun and an M16 respectively. And then a stretcher bearer here. He's carrying the stretcher through the forest, which is dense, to go help out this Marine. There's also some wildlife here, a parrot, some snakes, spiders, creepy crawlies, all that fun stuff that you would find in Vietnam. And now moving into the forest. This is the most dense part of the MOC. A lot of foliage. This was very fun to build. My favorite part of building this was building these cool palm trees. The dead palm fronds underneath it were a nice touch, I think. Makes it a little bit more realistic and just adds to the realism of this MOC. So there's 3 of those across the battlefield. And here's a monkey on the treetops, as well as other wildlife all over the place. And some more American Marines here. There's 1 and 2 that the major sent out on patrol. They're armed with M16s as well, the standard issue American weapon in Vietnam. They've got their steel pot helmets on, and they're patrolling through the jungle on orders to locate any VC activity and report that back. And coincidentally, there is a VC trench here, which is highly invisible to the American troops, but they can shoot out of it at any time, sneak back into their tunnels, and the Vietnamese troops, NVA and VC, were notorious for their trenches. The Ho Chi Minh, or rather the Cu Chi tunnels, were famous outside of Ho Chi Minh City. The VC used that on the Tet Offensive to attack the American troops stationed in South Vietnam to great effectiveness. So there's a tunnel system here. I'll go over that in a little bit more detail in a bit. But it's pretty easy to see from the air when the Vietnamese troops are wearing their conical helmets, but from the ground it's nearly impossible to see. So it's pretty well blended in for just a regular American patrol. They also have spikes sticking out of the ground, so any unwary enemy would just impale themselves on that. There's also some more foliage. Troops here carrying their AK-47s, and another Russian-made weapon there. So here are 2 elves from Lord of the Rings watching over the forest, just I guess watching what's going on, what's happening in this conflict. Then down here you can see the tunnel. A VC troop, a VC guerrilla, is just about to enter it, and it's supported by these little wooden brackets. And here's another guerrilla crawling through the tunnels, and there's an exit here inside one of the Vietnamese huts. So there's a pot here that can be lifted up and down. So if any American troops come through here, they're not suspicious at all, as a lot of Vietnamese homes had pots like this to cook their rice and other food that they would have. So now we'll get into the village area. There's a bomb explosion here from an American bombing. So there's no fighter in the MOC, but bombs are being dropped right now. There's one here that's just going to fall down into the foliage there. And another one here is exploding, and there's a Vietnamese man or woman there that just got torched by the fire. And I included a light brick in this if I can reach it. So it's kind of hard to see with all this light, but it lights up on the inside to kind of make it a flickering, more realistic part of the MOC. I'll turn the lights off in a little bit to show you that. So here in a little bit darker situation, we can see the explosion from the bomb a little bit more clearly with the flickering red light brick there. And here's the Vietnamese woman fleeing the bomb explosion. Going over to the hut here, where there is some spears and food on the outside. And then Vietnamese, a troop exiting the hut, because there's another troop with a remote detonated bomb inside the hut. So when an American soldier comes close, they can just explode this and make it not a nice day for that American soldier or Marine. So here's the interior of one of the huts. An unmade bed. The sheets are all spread out there. And just a thatched roof and hut. So you can see inside here as well. And then moving on to the other hut. It's similar in design, but it has a little bit different features. This is a more detailed one. You have a battle droid up there on display. A samurai warrior outfit as well on display. It has the armor. So it's not at all native to Vietnam. It's Japanese, but I just felt like including that in this MOC. So here's the leader of the Vietnamese guerrillas here. He has his map out, his AK-47 with bayonet attached, and a glaive there on the bed, as well as more knives in this bag, and another guerrilla opening up the pot so that this troop can exit. So there's a lot of food throughout the hut, and some ancient bows and swords. Moving on to this forested area, there's the VC guerrilla with mortar emplacement that just shot the Marine over there. He's concealed well in this foliage with a palm tree and bamboo and other grasses, so he's able to get off a few more rounds before the Americans catch on to his position and the sniper takes him out. And throughout the MOC there's vines like this, just leaves, adding to the Vietnam feel of this, and bamboo throughout because they had a lot of that. It was a native plant, and a little steps going down to the rice paddies where there are a couple Vietnamese farmers farming the rice. And that's pretty much the MOC. I'll just give you one more overlook of the entire thing. And that's my Vietnam MOC. Please like, comment, and subscribe below. And I hope you enjoyed watching. Please look at my other videos and check those out. I'll be doing more military MOCs soon, I believe. So keep your eyes posted for those. Thank you. Bye.